Good evening and welcome to my economics chit chat session today. Well, I've got important news to talk about today is the factor called as the remittances that has been not coming to India or the failing remittances that has been happening. If you look at the economic situation today, most of the country, as you know, that they have been facing a problem called as the cash crunch. The reason for this cash crunch to happen is that business is not on the path. Business is not moving as expected. And many people have been asking on this factor, when will the economy start reviving back? Now, if you look into the Indian economy in particular, though the government has been trying to put a lot of money into the system, asking people to revive back, bringing in a positivity in the mindset of people. But what has been happening altogether is that people are not able to get completely convinced by the factor that this will again revive the economy. This amount of money which is coming in the form of the Atmanirbhar plan will not be sufficient, will not be enough. That's where is the question, the mindset of the people coming into picture. They believe that this is just a stimulus which is being provided for a timely manner, for a timely basis altogether. But then the question that starts coming into the mind of people is that how is that the real revival is going to happen? Where is the FDI going to come into? What are the sectors where the government will be really looking in terms of investment? Would there be another chance for all of us to really come back to the pre-COVID levels altogether? So the interesting factor in terms of economy is that we need to understand the revival is possible only when the consumption level starts going up. It is not just by a stimulus factor, because the more and more money you try to give people during the pandemic time, people will try to save the money rather than spending the money. So if any sector or any individual who is going to get a stimulus from the government in excess, automatically that industry, that sector or that individual will try to save the money rather than spending out the money. This is purely because of the fear factor that has been happening in the economy. Now people are fearing to invest, people are fearing to go into new ventures altogether. So somewhere down the lane, if you start understanding yourself, if you start going into the picture of the economy, it is very, very important for all of us to see and to understand that the revival is going to happen only when the demand starts rebounding into situation. Now what we are trying to do is that we are trying to come back by pushing ourselves to the work factor. We are trying to go away from our fear factors. We are trying to make ourselves even more interesting, even more ready, a workforce ready oriented picture in terms of development. But then the fear still continues to linger in the minds of people. People are still worried about the factor that whether this coronavirus will again get repeated altogether. So the government's job or the government's priority as of right now is to see that whether they are able to succeed over the fear factor rather than just putting the stimulus into action. So now the concept of fear, the concept of psychology is attacking the people's mindset badly rather than the positivity. One side, when you want to get yourself motivated and push the economy forward, the other side, the reality is trying to take you back. So the government's job right now would be probably more to understand and address the coronavirus situation as soon as possible. We have been hearing about the factor that there are vaccines being developed and the vaccines need to be come into action, they would be able to cure people. But then unless and until something concrete happens, some positive results happens in the field vaccine development, and people get the confidence saying that yes, the vaccine is available, yes, that magic medicine is available which can cure hundreds and thousands and millions of people across this globe, the confidence restoration is not possible. So somewhere down the lane, we need to understand this theory very, very clearly. Economics also involves a lot of psychological factors which act on the market, which play in the market. So that's why, there is always the concept of the invisible hand that works out in the economy. And now the invisible factor, rather I would say the visible factor that is playing in the market, is the concept of fear. Unless and until each one of us, including me, try to allay the fear away, try to remove the fear factor away, the revival of economy is not possible. So my dear friends, I would request and I would suggest all of you is to start looking forward every single venture, not just from a positive angle. I don't just want to motivate you, rather I want you to think the possibility of how you can perform better. Suppose you are already into a venture, you are already into an enterprise, you are already into a particular sector. What we really need to know is that how can we bring in or adapt the change so that you can keep moving forward and you can take the fear factor out of your mind slowly and in a positive manner. With that, our economy will definitely rebound back and we will definitely come back to the situation where the Indian economy will script a double-digit growth in GDP. With this, I would like to conclude my session. Thank you for joining me today on this wonderful session. Please do subscribe to my channel and please feel free to pass on your ideas, comments and opinions. Thank you once again for joining me tonight.